What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com. It's the season, the reason for the season. Ho 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 and all that stuff. We're gonna talk about Nutcrackers. This movie went to Hulu. It actually did debut. It was a film festival movie that Hulu bought instead of Fox Searchlight, which is really interesting because it actually doesn't even have an MPAA rating. Which is something that I believe the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat actually did because it was originally intended for theatrical release and then got moved to Hulu. This was always like they bought this for Hulu, so it has TV 14 is its rating. um, so Ben Stiller and Linda Cardellini are sort of the two biggest stars here, but you also have like Tim Heidecker pops up in the movie as well, and Edie Patterson and some other people. But the two biggest adults are Stiller and Cardellini. And we open. It's directed by David Gordon Green, by the way. Mixed bag on that, I know. But nice to see him back in this. I don't know. Is it nice to see? I don't know if it's nice to see. Never mind. I take that back. It does have audio description, and well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, we'll get into it. So this is weird way. I'm off to a weird start here. So Ben plays a guy who we're introduced to while he's driving a Porsche to out to the middle of nowhere, and he's in a nondescript call to his boss. Actually, I think the opening scene might have been with the kids. The kids are at some sort of carnival, and hijinks ensues. It's very brief, but you're introduced to these pack of wild kids. Then we cut to Ben Stiller. Sorry, and he's driving, and his boss is, he's like, I need this stuff by Monday. I guess Ben Stiller's sister's death has inconvenienced his boss, which immediately made me go, he's going to end up not with his job, because this job obviously sucks, because anybody who you can tell, like when you have a job that somebody's supposed to keep by the end of the movie, usually the boss is like, oh, take the time. You're a valued employee. There's no deadline for you here on this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, take the time you need. We're here when you get back. And then they have to debate, like, do I want to go back to this awesome job that I have that was really supportive of me? Here you have a boss who is like, ugh, can't believe your sister died, basically. Still need that shit by Monday. If you don't give it to me by Monday, we've got problems. And Ben is so like disconnected from life. He's like, yeah, this feels right. So he read the script and was like, this is a good movie. So he drives out to the house, and again, like, just totally like, he doesn't feel like he's connected to his sister at all. Like he could give two shits less that he's here. So, but he's also not quite. Ben Stiller does not present himself in the way that your typical brash asshole would. I'm thinking like a Jerry Maguire type of thing, like a Tom Cruise, where like he has to sort of like let down his guard. Tom's done that role really pretty well before. Other people have done it well. Ben doesn't do this role very well. This sort of disconnected, I'm really involved in my life and my job. He already feels like he's ready to dial it back and become the uncle to these four boys that are all that are left behind. And God, this film is just filled with it's just stupid shit. It's just every single time something happened, I was like, God damn it. Anyway, so like he gets to the house, and there's this guy from the carnival that I guess the kids like ruined something and stole some Oreos or something. I don't know. And he's like, it's like $1,200. And my response, as me being in the movie, would have been like, great, why didn't you tell the person who was legally responsible for them until I got here? Because you can't hold me responsible because I was not here to accept guardianship. That's how this works. So you can't just wait for me to show up and then say, hey, this thing that they did before you got here. So someone should have been watching those kids until Ben Stiller got there. But I guess his sister and his sister's, or his brother-in-law, passed, and he's here with the least amount of emotion humanly possible. He could not care less. I mean, he's more concerned about with getting back to work. He's like, I have a dead sister now, whatever, fuck it. You know, it's it's so off-putting. This is such a weird holiday movie. And the kids are a strong choice. I um I loved and hated them at the same time. Like, and not for the reasons that you would think. Like, it feels like somebody's trying too hard, but at the same time, I think the four actors actually had a good dynamic together. Like, they actually felt like they could be siblings. Every scene that they had together, they had like a tight bond. But damn, they're given some really dumb shit to do. Like, they're standing on like the roof of the barn, and you're like, oh, I get it. They're quirky. This is like in Dead Poet Society when they stood on the desks. They're bold. They're independent. Um, I didn't like the audio description because it didn't quite give me any sort of definition between the four of them. And like later on, it talks about like their hair and like there's like basically Ben is like a placeholder until a family wants to adopt them, which is never going to happen because these kids are like unruly, like free range children. So, um, but he's basically just waiting, and there's like a family that's like immediately say something about how they want to cut the hair, and I'm like, they have long hair. Like, these are things like I didn't even know. Um, and yeah, I just I didn't I could have used that. I could have used more audio description on the differences between these four boys, because it's really hard to figure out. I didn't even know who was the oldest and who was the youngest. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even like the age range. I was just going by like who had the deepest voice, but I don't know. You know, like um, I can't even remember all four of their names, but I know Justice and Junior were two of them. I want to. I think no, I don't want to guess anything other than that. Justice and Junior were the two that I remember. And I think they're the two older ones too, by the way. Um, but yeah, Stiller is out there, and he has to learn how to. He has to stay there for a little while longer and learn how to function. Looks like he's going to be there a little while longer, which is not great for his job. But he's still trying to work and maintain these four hellions who like do everything from. Oh my god, they drive his car. uh, you always get the feeling too that these kids, no matter what rules he would set, they would still break it or find a way around it. Like, there's nothing that they can't do. Um, I was watching this with somebody else, and they were like, "Where did they get his keys?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I feel like wherever he would have put them, they would have found them." So I think that this is irrelevant because they're written as such these, um, as like nightmare children that nobody would want, which is why you know that the film is going to be like, who's going to possibly want to adopt these four kids? And for a while there, it's like they find families, but like they'd have to split them up. So it's like, so we go through that phase of the film, and Stiller's like, well, I'm not splitting these kids up. That's horrible. Um, so he agrees to stay until there's like a family who would accept all four of them, and then those families are not like, one of them is the one that's like wants to like immediately change the way these kids look, and Stiller's like, well, they should, I mean, obviously my sister was okay with this, so he doesn't have a problem with that. He's like, why would you immediately want to cut their hair? Like why is that the first thing you want to do, is immediately change the way that they look to appease you? These kids have been through something. So like the film has some ideas here, but man, it just delivers everything in the most clunkily done way possible. I don't know why this is a Christmas movie. it all leads to this like dance thing that they do at the end because his sister was running a dance studio in town. I don't even know the size of this town, by the way, because like they can't. There's this thing with like cell phone reception, and they live on this farm, and he's trying to get cell phone reception, and he seems miles away from everything. They live this farm life. The farm animals are constantly like walking through the house. They're all over the place. There's some dumb shit too here where he wakes up and he's like yelling at somebody on the phone, and he's like, "I kind of hate it here. I woke up and there was some sort of like rodent." I was like, "You've never, this grown man has never seen a guinea pig before in his entire life, has never seen a guinea pig, and conceptually did not know what one was. That's what you're expecting me. Why? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know why David Gordon Green needed that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why would the line not work by him saying something like, I woke up and there was a guinea pig in my bed? Why is that not funny? Why does he have to write it off as some rodent? Like he's a complete idiot. Like, I don't understand this movie at all. It makes no sense. It there's a girl, and there's like the idea that the boy, and like, oh my god, he's so stupid. Ben Stiller's the dumbest person in this movie. Like, the kids are homeschooled, and they're like, oh, it's a school day and we have to have homeschooling, so we learn things, and they explain why they're homeschooled, which seems legit based on everything we know at this point. I mean, like, their dad's truck is an ice cream truck. So, I mean, this feels like the weirdest family. Like, they're taking a swing here for, like, the most eclectic family that you could have possibly found the four kids to adopt. Um, I mean, you can't go much further. After this is like Children of the Corn, and then like that's it. There's not much else. So, but yeah, they're homeschooled, and they're like, well, we have to learn today. And then so Ben thinks like, he's like, well, I guess I have to teach them. Like he doesn't even like, he's not even like, I don't know, what do you, first of all, they're all different ages, I think. I don't think there's never really a mention of them being like quintuplets or quadruplets or whatever. Sorry, quadruplets is 4, quintuplets is 5. Uh, so they wouldn't be learning the same things. So he gives them like one. He's like, all right, so what do we work? Yeah, like he's just gonna give them like one big lesson, and they like whisper, and they're like, oh, sex. So like, of course, sex is like the first lesson, and then, like he clunkily. We get that because that's funny. Let's talk about that. Let's watch Ben Stiller awkwardly describe sex to these kids that he's known for 5 minutes. I think there's a point in the movie where he mentions he's met one of them before, like, but not the others. So, and he like, it's funny because he expects that one to remember. He's like, I don't know if you remember me. And it's like, if you don't know the other 3, then I don't know. How old was the oldest one? Like a baby? Oh, I remember you were holding me. Yeah, that's right. He is one of the dumbest characters written on screen that I've seen this year. He's so poorly written, and I don't know what Ben Stiller saw in this role. Linda Cardellini plays the social worker, I guess. They don't live anywhere, so I'm like, is she social area? What area does she cover? What office is he driving to? Where is the closest town? Where is this dance studio that she owned? Like, he's like, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I was like, where? Like, I had such a little concept. Either because of the way the film is laid out and structured, constantly making them seem like that they're so far away from life. Like the emphasis on lack of cell reception. There's this scene where I swear to Jesus, the boy, he's like, oh, so where can I get cell reception around here? And at first the boys tell him like, drive 10 miles down the road and take a ride. And he's like, you guys are fucking with me, aren't you? And they're like, oh no, you're right. Actually, if you go out in the middle of the lake, you'll get cell reception. So he actually does that. This is what I literally can't with this movie. I don't. I'm sure people were at a film festival and they were watching all these Oscar movies and then they stumbled into Nutcrackers and they're like, oh, Ben Stiller, David Gordon Green. Oh, this would be fun. And they walked out of it and they were like, I want to kill myself. I could have seen Nora. I could have seen The Brutalist. And they saw this instead. Like, this never should have been in a film. Whoever passed this into a film festival, there's nothing about this that screams, ooh, this will be good. Except for, it's like if you just read the cast, you're like, oh, it's Ben Stiller and Linda Cardellini, directed by David Gordon Green. This is going to be brilliant. I feel like this is great. Oh, remember last year when we had that excellent Paul Giamatti movie, The Holdovers? It'll be like that. It'll be a heartwarming film where everybody changes in time for the holidays. No, it's not. Um, have I seen worse this year? Absolutely, I have. That's the scary thing. But in no way is this a good movie. I've actually seen. The funny thing is that this was shot as like a potential theatrical release, and I've seen movies that were not. That Netflix has put out that are like those like standard movies of the week that I've enjoyed more than this. I enjoyed The Merry Gentleman more than this. And to be totally honest, I enjoyed Our Little Secret more than this. Lindsay Lohan's weird movie with Kristen Chenoweth, because at least those characters are presented in the way that made some semblance of sense. Stiller's character here is written so poorly, and the boys are written like they're like these, I don't know, they're both nightmarish and adorable, and they're, oh, look how quirky they are. They're standing on the roof again. Like, it's just, and then I got no, the audio description didn't really support any differences in the four of them. So I'm just thinking they're basically like the Ninja Turtles, and the only way you can tell them the difference is because of the color of the bandana they're wearing or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is not an experience I would recommend to anybody. Let this movie die on Hulu. Hulu has had better movies. Hulu has had better Christmas movies. The one with Kristen Stewart, I would absolutely recommend. Its name escapes me right now, but Kristen Stewart has one that's on Netflix. That's on Hulu. Sorry, it's on Hulu. That I loved. I thought that was great. Saw that the first time. It's got Dan Levy's in it, if that helps, as well. So if you can find that movie, that was an excellent watch. This is Kill It with Fire. I hate this movie. I'm gonna give Nutcrackers a D plus. I've never been more disappointed. I was actually really looking forward to this. I was like, oh, Ben Stiller's got a new movie, and it's a holiday movie. Oh, this would be good. So like, I get it on paper, this seems great, but the execution here is so poor, and the script is awful. And by the way, the kids are not the problem. The way the kids are written is but these kids, the four kids, are actually, I thought they were fine together, which is why I complimented their chemistry. They're one of the few things that work in this film, except for every once in a while they're given like really weird shit to do, where they're like, well, we need you to be weird now. Go do weird shit so you can continue to be these quirky, hellions that nobody could ever possibly love or adopt, except Ben Stiller by the end of the movie. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.